What's up, everybody, man? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Expert Mentors Live. This is episode 50, and something about that, it's actually been almost, I think it's 1 year exactly that we've been running with Expert Mentors Live. We had a hiccup with an episode that didn't get recorded. We had another episode that with little technical issues. So this is actually our 1 year anniversary of Expert Mentors Live, and super excited for you guys today. I think we've got a fantastic topic. You guys are going to take away tons and tons of notes. So make sure you have your notepad and pen handy, and make sure that we give plenty of love for Russ. Russ, welcome, man. Thank you for taking the time and coming on board and doing an Expert Mentors Live with us.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having me on the webinar today. And I'm really excited to share this information with the honey badgers in the group. I've had a good experience. I've actually reached out to a lot of you. I think a few weeks back, I offered a free chatbot for anybody who would test it out and give me a testimonial. So some of you have already, experienced that and worked with me in a couple of ways. But what I want to show you today is I want to drop some good value on you. And I just want to show you the basics of how to generate leads through Facebook ads that really are going to convert. Because there's a lot of courses out there, there's a lot of gurus out there, but really there are some basic nuts and bolts, and I won't make it boring, I promise, that will show you, if you do this, you'll get this result. And then at the end of it, we'll kind of talk about how do we convert these into deals. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how cheap leads we bring in, it doesn't matter how many there are. If we can't convert those to deals, it's just wasted money.
Right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Give everybody new that's jumped on with us a little context about yourself, your story, and why there's, like you said, there's all these other people trying to peddle how to do Facebook leads and this, that, the other. Give them some context why they really want to pay attention and capture as much of the information that you're sharing with us today.
Yeah, so I got into lead generation. Before I got into real estate, I was a solar sales rep, and I worked for Tesla, which was formerly Solar City. And they paid me 5 times as much if I brought in my own deals. So I kind of dabbled in lead generation because if I could get 5 times as much money, that would be awesome, right? And I figured that out. And then as time went on, I started working with a guy who was an investor, and he wanted me to, be his buyer's agent in the Pittsburgh area. And then I figured, well, hey, I have a real estate license. I might as well learn how to generate real estate leads as well. So, I took some courses and I did some trial and error. And at the end of the day, honestly, almost everything that I know how to do came from blowing thousands of dollars on bad ads. And so I mean, it's been a multi-year process. I know that some people, it appears I sprang up overnight. Whoa, where'd this guy come from? No, it was me failing for a long time before I popped up with some success. So all the stuff that I'm going to show you, yes, the principles are basically the same. Honestly, most marketers that teach this stuff teach very similar stuff to what I teach. I just teach it a little bit different. I teach it how to do it and incorporate it with a chat bot at the end of it. I teach how to do it. So we're starting conversations more than just getting leads, right? Because anybody can get a name, email, phone number, put them on a drip campaign and hope for the best. But really what we want this to lead to is conversation started, because that's ultimately what leads to deals.
I love that. Hopefully you guys wrote that down. It's not about the number of leads you've got. It's about the number of conversations that you're having. And man, I'm excited. Let's rock and roll.
All right. So I have a presentation I'd like to pull up for you guys if that's okay.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, let's pull this up. And so what do? Do I share my screen here?
Yep. You should be able to share down there.
Okay. So I'm going to click share on this.
There you go. Perfect.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So I don't want to blow this up on my whole screen just because I want to still be able to see you if you motion. So, you're going to see the little bit of, can you guys see this though? Does it look okay?
Looks perfect.
All right. So this is a modified version of a live presentation that I do for people. I've done this in front of live agents multiple times. And I'm also going to tell you guys how I've used this presentation to recruit EXP agents to myself and how you can do the same thing. Okay. So I'm going to show you that at the end. But first, I'm just going to go through it real quick, just a little bit more about me. Basically, why should you listen to anything I have to say? I've worked with clients for pretty much every single real estate company in the country, including EXP, Keller Williams, all the big ones and more, and smaller ones. I have a lot of great feedback if you guys have checked me out at all. This was the first guy I ever worked with in the state of Florida. His name was J.R. Sands, and J.R. came down here. He had no money. He had no friends. He had no connections. I actually did this for free for him because I was just trying to help him out. and he landed a $425,000 listing the first week I worked with him. Basic principles again. What the key to all this was he just listened to what I told him worked, and he repeated it exactly as I said to do it. If you do it that way, it'll work. If you deviate from it a little bit, sometimes the details really, really matter. Okay. All right. So this is what I hope to accomplish with you guys today. I want to provide you with a ton of value. I want to teach you actions you can take today to generate leads. And I want to help you leave with confidence in your ability to have success. I want to inspire you to take action right away, because I can get you all fired up. I can show you a ton of cool stuff. But if you don't leave today and you go and take action, it's all worthless, you know? And some of you know that I sell courses on my website. And one of the saddest things about what I do with these courses is that I look at the back end of them, and a lot of people that buy these courses don't even finish them. Probably 75% don't get to the last video. So that means they didn't take action. So the key to all this is take this information I give you, take action, and I'm very approachable. If you friend request me on Facebook, if you send me a Facebook message, I will gladly help you out with any questions that you have. All right. So since we're going to have to abbreviate this, because I usually do this in a 2 to 3 hour increment, it's going to feel like this is a fire hose. This is you, and this is me over here, spewing some water in your face. So don't worry about it. It'll all make sense in the end. If you have any questions, I'll take some questions at the end as well.
Love it.
So just real quick, the opportunity in real estate, we've probably seen a lot of this stuff, but I'm just going to go over it real quick. 2013 to 15, referral base was most of the business. That's from the National Association of Realtors. 2016 referral base was dropping to 68%. 2017, it was dropping to 40%. Now, the question is, why is that happening? The answer is 92% of people started searching online. 70% of people found their agent online. 74% of buyers and sellers worked with the first agent they had a conversation with. And so when I read this statistic, my goal as somebody who generated leads was to help the people that I worked with understand that it's not how many leads we get. It's not how much those leads cost. What this really is all about is getting those leads to have a conversation with you. So if you can have 5 good leads with a conversation, that's better than 100 leads that you got their name, email, and their phone number, right?
Yep.
All right. So Facebook, by the numbers, 1.49 billion people worldwide. Bottom line is Facebook is huge, right? And so if you're not tapping into Facebook to generate business and to get leads, you're really leaving some money on the table. Now, at the end of the day, Facebook is really not a social media place like we think that it is. It's not a place to share pictures. I mean, yeah, it is all that. But at the end of the day, Facebook is a data aggregator. What that means is that they pull data in from every single thing that we put on our Facebook page, pictures, places we visit, things we like to eat, things we like to drink. And then what happens is something like this. You can see, you probably get these things in your Facebook feed where you see 2 years ago today, you did this, right? Well, we think that's really cool because we can look back and we can see our cool memories with our kids and our family and our friends. But really, that's actually, they're aggregating data so marketers like myself can use that data and market to people who have saved things on Facebook. So if you remember that in the big picture, Facebook is a data aggregator, and that's why we are able to run Facebook ads and successfully target the people that we want to see. Now, I'm just going to go through this part really quick because most people don't have a problem with this, but I do want to run over how to stay out of Facebook jail, how to not get your ads banned, right? So there's a couple of things that will get your ads banned: the ad itself, the ad account, or the destination URL. So if your ad account is in bad standing, if you haven't paid your bill, stuff like that, you can get it banned. If your ad talks about things that are specifically against the rules, and I'm talking fair housing rules, okay? So if you say this is the best neighborhood for these reasons that are exclusionary, something like that, that is completely against the rules of fair housing, and Facebook highly enforces that. I'm sure some of you guys have seen the article recently. They're going to take away some more targeting options, so it's even more difficult to exclude people, okay? So you want to be very careful. You want to make sure that when your ad is running, or if you're boosting a post, that you're very inclusive to the whole community. Because if you're being any bit exclusionary whatsoever, they very well may not run that ad and they may ban your account. And then this doesn't apply so much to the destination URL, but if you are running to a landing page, that destination URL has to have a privacy policy on it, or else they won't let it run and they might ban your account for not having that. All right, so again, these are just some pretty simple things. Don't grow too fast. If you're going to spend money with Facebook, spend a couple dollars a day. Don't jump to like $100 the next day. Don't edit or delete disapproved ads. If you do get an ad that's disapproved, Don't edit or delete it. What you should do is you should appeal it. And if they come back, you just make a new ad if they say that you can't do it. And then if possible, do not log into your ads from outside the United States because that looks very scammy. Not many people do that, but if you do that, people's ads have got banned for doing that. All right. So one thing you can do is you can set up Business Manager. Business Manager is basically Facebook ads through their new platform. Well, it's not new, but it's new to a lot of us. And in the future, they're going to require everyone to have a Business Manager account to run Facebook ads. And it's basically just business.facebook.com. You just follow the prompts, you make an account. It's really easy to do, and all you do is just add in your Facebook pages that you use, and you add in your manager account. You're going to want to do that eventually because later I'm going to talk about making custom audiences, and you can't upload custom audiences without a Business Manager account. So that's how you do it. And by the way, guys, I'm going to give you all these slides to this presentation. So if I'm going a little bit too fast for you and you feel like you can't keep up, don't worry about it because you're going to have access to this at the end. So don't worry. All right. So you should really do this. I mean, honestly, I haven't read the whole thing, but if you have a chance, you should read the Facebook policy. It's very, very important to not break fair housing rules, just like we know in the real estate business. It's the same in the Facebook business. Race or color, national origin, religion, sex, presence of children. You have to just be very careful not to break the fair housing rules even very slightly because they're very sensitive to this. And that's about it. That's about all I'm going to go through on policies. Basically, don't break the rules. You go to facebook.com/policies/ads. All right. So now we're getting to a part where this is the cool part. So a lot of people have run Facebook ads in the past. You've boosted posts, you've done all types of things, and your return on investment sucks. And why does it suck? I'm going to get into why it sucks and how we can make it not suck. So you have an audience that doesn't match the offer. You have an over-relying interest on specific targeting, uninspired or bad ads, too much text, boosting posts, failures to exclude competition, and poor or no follow-up. So that is why the main reasons why, if you're spending money on Facebook ads, these are the reasons why you wouldn't be getting a return on investment, the main reasons. And so one of the key thoughts here is that there's a couple of things when you're running a Facebook ad. You need your offer and your audience. So if you have the wrong audience, like you have these college student looking people, and then you have the right offer, they obviously can't afford that house right now. You're going to have a mismatch. So that's kind of a funny picture, right? Big giant sumo dude versus a little sumo dude.
I think everybody gets the picture there.
Yeah. So honestly, like if you're advertising a house that's, you know, $800,000, we don't want people to see that are in the $150,000 range, right? We want to do everything we can to prevent that without breaking the rules. Okay. So the other thing too is over-reliance on behavioral targeting. And what that means is a lot of people who have never really done much with Facebook ads, they get in there and they dabble with this. They'll go in and they'll start just targeting everything they can think of. They'll start targeting cars people make, stores they visit, all kinds of stuff. And that's just, you don't need to do that stuff at all. There's some very specific things that you should target when you run Facebook ads for real estate leads, and I'm going to show those to you. Don't get too crazy with it. I don't. And one of the things I've been testing sometimes too that works really well is no targeting at all. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So one thing to know about Facebook ads is that the targeting options you have are always changing and they're always evolving. So you can see on the left-hand side here, these were things that we used to get a lot of leads back in early 2018. Likely to move, recent home buyer, recent mortgage borrower. Then there was another one that was homeowner. And when we could target homeowners, we could get tons of seller leads doing that. But they took all of those things away. So now the best things to target are over here. Basically the search engine sites for real estate, right? Realtor.com, Trulia, and Zillow. Every single ad that I run for Facebook ads includes these targeting factors right here. Now, I'm also going to show you the other things that I do. You should have a specific age range and things like that. But I always run this, and I usually run it against no targeting at all. Now, the reason that I do that is I'll do what's called a split test. I'll have one ad running with these targeting factors and one ad with no targeting at all. Facebook will actually synchronize their algorithm with your ad, and they will start to funnel the best people for your ad that are most likely to convert just based on all the factors that they know. So sometimes it works out better if you do no targeting at all. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
All right. So the other thing is So bad ads, right? So the room on the left is a very bare room. The room on the right has some decorations. I'm going to get into how we're going to do a good ad, but if you have a bad ad, it's just, if your offer is off, nobody's going to click on your ad. And I say this to people that I talk to all the time. Nobody wakes up in the morning thinking, hey, I'm going to get up today and I'm going to become a lead for Russ Ward, Realtor at EXP, right? You actually have to get them while they're scrolling through their feed, stop them in their tracks because your offer and your picture are so compelling, and then get them to click a button and give you their information. Like, it's not an easy thing to do because people, typically don't want to do that. So what you have to do is have something that's so compelling that will actually get them to stop and give you their information. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Another thing too is too much text in your image. Okay, so a lot of people I've seen, one of the big mistakes I see make is realtors will put a picture of their face on one side, and then on the other side it will be like their business card and contact information. All right, it's the worst thing you can do. I don't care how pretty your face is. They don't care what you look like, and they don't care what your contact information is because they don't know anything at all about you, right? So we just want to eliminate that all completely. We don't want our faces in the ads. We don't even want to let them know that we're a realtor, and I'm going to show you later why we don't want to let them know that. However, too much text in an ad will get your ad limited to the point where very few people will actually see it. Okay, and then the other thing you want to make sure you do is exclude your competition. So you can see down here, and I'm going to show you later exactly how to do this, but we want to exclude real estate brokers, real estate agents, anything at all related to real estate. And this isn't so much because we don't want them to steal our ads, because they can look at them anyway. Everybody has access to everybody's ads. We just don't want to be showing our ad to people that are never going to have interest in becoming a lead. Because the way Facebook charges, even though I can tell you all day long I get leads for $1.80, $2.20 each, I'm not really getting leads for that price. What I'm paying Facebook for is I pay them per 1,000 impressions that I get. So depending on how good your ad is, your price per impressions will go down. So an ad that's just starting out with a brand new cold traffic, someone who's never seen you, you're going to pay about $30 for 1,000 people to see your ad. Okay. And then if you can do better, if you get engagement, if you get comments, you get likes and things like that, Facebook will say, oh, cool, this ad is working out really well. People really like it. They'll start charging you less. They'll charge you 27, 26, 25. So at the end of the day, one of the big things is we don't want people looking at this ad that should be looking at it, because it's just going to drive up our cost per impression. All right. So another big thing that a lot of realtors do is they boost ads for leads rather than awareness. Okay. And all of us have done it. We're all guilty. If you just take one of your posts on your Facebook business page and you boost it, you're basically wasting money, because if you hit that boost post, Facebook's going to send your ad to your boost to the whole entire country. No one's going to care, because mostly the people in your area are the only people who would care anyway. So it's literally like burning money doing this. A good reason to boost an ad would be to say you have an open house coming up or you have a new listing. Boosting that ad would be fine as long as you show that only to the local area. But still, you can still boost an ad by using Ads Manager, and you have much more functionality. So I recommend never boosting ads, because I have never had a return on investment by boosting ads. So this is kind of the pie here, right? So we got the Facebook lead generation, and then we have lead follow-up and conversion. And I'm going to talk about some of the ways that are best to follow up with people. But a vast majority of reasons why people are not making money with Facebook ads is because a lot of times they get overwhelmed with the leads and then they just don't follow up at all. Or if they do follow up, they just don't follow up persistently enough. Okay. And it's extremely important, as most of us know, that when you get an internet lead, I don't care where it comes from. It can come from realtor.com. It can come from Zillow. It can come from Facebook. You need to contact those people as fast as possible, because they're very ADD, and the first person to get to them is usually going to land them as a client if you have a substantive conversation with them. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get in here to targeting. So once you go into Facebook ads, this is what you're going to see. And you're going to have two kinds of audiences. Up here at the top, a custom audience, and down here, what I call a core audience. A core audience is one that you basically come up with yourself in the Ads Manager. A custom audience is a list of names and email addresses or phone numbers, whatever you have, of people that you already know. So it can be previous clients, it can be previous contacts, whatever you have. Now, to make a custom audience, you need at least 100 people to make that list. And I'm going to show you that in a second. First, I'm going to show you core audience targeting. Core audience is the one I talked about, where people target way too many things. You can target location, demographics, interests, and behaviors. And as you can see, like I talked about before, Facebook's always removing things, based on political climates or if, you remember that Cambridge Analytica thing. So anytime there's a data breach, Facebook is going to tighten things down on marketers and people who are running ads. So you just want to not get too overly reliant, because to be honest with you, I was very reliant on these things right here last year. And when they took them away, I had to scramble and I had to find out ways to do it better. So, just be very open and very broad with your targeting, and then you'll never get stuck with your pants down like that. So in case you ever wanted to know a whole listing of things that I recommend to include, if you do want to include things, on the left-hand side here, I have interests that you can include for your ads, and then things that you should exclude over here on the right side. So if you really want to go crazy with it and test it and see if I include all this stuff and I exclude all this stuff, see how it'll work, go ahead. All that's there for you. That's exactly what I'd recommend. Now, when we're targeting buyer leads, what you do, and this is what I recommend. So I recently moved to Tampa, but I used to live in Cheswick, Pennsylvania, which was right outside of Pittsburgh. So I'm going to use that for my examples in here. In the targeting, what you can do is you can type in an area, say for instance, Cheswick. What I'm looking for here is I'm looking for buyer leads for 120 to 180,000 people, age 25 up, and men and women. Okay. So you can see over here in this particular case, I'm right in that sweet spot. I'm at 140,000 people. That's good, because anywhere from 120 to 180, you're going to get a lot of good leads. Below 120, you don't usually have enough people to see your ad, and it's going to drive up the cost. Above 180, you're getting into too many people, and it's just going to do crazy things with your ad. I don't know how to explain it better than that. And then here's what we target. We target Realtor.com. There's 2 of them. We target Trulia. There's 2 Trulias, and we target Zillow. That's it. That's all I recommend targeting to do Facebook ads or real estate buyer leads. And then what we do is we exclude all these other things: real estate broker, real estate agent, everything real estate related. Now this is key here. You only want to eliminate the people who are a job title or an employer. You do not want to eliminate people that is an interest, because people who are interested in real estate brokers but not also working in the business, that can eliminate them as a potential client. So don't eliminate interests, only job titles and employers. Okay, so other than age, we're talking about seller leads now. Okay, so that was buyer leads. We're talking about seller leads. I recommend that when you run seller leads, you do not run seller leads to anyone under the age of 30, because I've generated thousands of seller leads all across North America, and I have not seen anybody under the age of 30 actually convert from a lead into a listing under the age of 30 from all the ads that I've run. So it's the same exact targeting you run for a home valuation ad, and I'm going to show you this. So what we're going to do, and this is what I recommend when you do targeting for seller ads, I recommend you do 1 zip code at a time. And the reason for that is because you can make it so much more custom. So rather than saying Pittsburgh area, I can target zip code 15024 where I lived. And what I can do with that is I can say in my ad, Cheswick residents, right? Rather than Pittsburgh. So it's making it very custom. It's making them feel included. And so what people see is when they're scrolling through their Facebook feed, they're like, oh, this says Cheswick. I live in Cheswick. They click on it again and it says Cheswick, Cheswick, Cheswick. That keeps them going. If you say Pittsburgh, they're just like desensitized to it. They see Pittsburgh ads everywhere. So the more you can make this to the niche population, the better it is for you. And you can see down here, there is no really a minimum audience. You can run this to an audience as low as 5,000 people. I think over here, this one's actually 2,400 people. And I've actually been able to pull leads out of, under 3,000 people. And the thing to remember about this though, is that all the people in a zip code that's a small zip code are going to see this very quickly. So if you're getting leads in, say you're getting $2 leads and you're doing a seller ad, and you see the costs start to creep up to $3 and $4, you've pretty much exhausted that zip code and you should move on to another one as the price starts to increase. That's usually the reason for the increase, is when the people in the target demographic start to get exhausted by your ad.
Great point.
All right, so custom audience targeting. Custom audiences are basically a list of people that you have that you've interacted with. Typically, we like it best to be just email addresses. And the reason why this works is because if you upload a list to Facebook, they match everything on that list with the people on your list, and then all of those people become an audience that matched. Okay. Now, why this works so well is because if you already know that these people know you, they like you, they've done business with you, or that they're in the real estate market, then they're going to be much more likely to interact with your ads and become a lead. So where you do this is when you're an ads manager, you're going to go to all tools, and then over here, there's a button over here called audiences. Down here, you want to go to engagement. And, oh, I'm sorry, I messed that up. I'm not showing you how to upload an audience. What I'm showing you in this part here is if you run a video on your ad, people can view your video for X amount of seconds, right? So say you make a video of you doing an open house, and you know how people do those selfie videos all the time as they're doing a walkthrough on an open house, or they're doing something like that. So say you do that and you do 60 seconds of that, and you want to see who watched that video and then retarget the people who watched them. What you'll do is you go down here to engagement, and then what you can choose is people who watched at least 3 seconds, 10 seconds, 25% of your video. Obviously, the higher amount that they watched, the better they are, right?
Is there a good rule of thumb like that you want to pull and use? Is it like 25 to 50%? Is that ideal? What's kind of the sweet spot?
It depends on the length of the video, right? So if we're doing a 30 to 60 second video, 10-second video views are fine. If you're doing a really long video, like you're doing a long walkthrough, like 5, 10, 15 minutes, you prefer it to be about 50% for something like that. Definitely.
Okay, perfect.
And then what you can go back and do is you can retarget all those people who watched that video. And it's a great thing because now you can make another video like, hey, you watched my last video, now check out my new one, right?
Is that why you feel, and everybody, even Facebook has mentioned, I don't even know the statistic, what do they project their feed within the next 12 to 18 months to be 85% video? Is that just from a targeting perspective, it's just easier to target when somebody's consuming your content?
It really is. And the other thing too about that is that some statistics I've read recently is that most people don't even watch the video. They'll scroll past it and they'll see it playing. So you always want to make sure that if you can do it, you have subtitles in there, because a lot of people will actually watch your video with subtitles and never push the button to start it and hear your voice. So it's very important.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you recommend for the subtitles? And you may be getting to that, but just since you're on it, what?
Well, if you make a YouTube video, YouTube will do it for you automatically. There's a setting in there for you. And there are, what I always do is I just go to Fiverr. And are you guys familiar with Fiverr? Fiverr is a website where you can hire basically freelance people to do stuff for $5 or less, right? It used to be that. Now they charge like $100 for certain things. But you can pay a Fiverr person, $5 to transcribe a 30, 60-second video, and then they'll put all the transcribe right in there for you.
Sweet.
Yep. So that's what I recommend. I don't recommend trying to do it yourself because I've done that and it's a pain in the butt. If you're going to try and monetize a video, just have somebody else do it. All right. So a lookalike audience is basically taking an audience that you've uploaded or that you've created through something like video views. And then Facebook finds people who are like the people in that audience. It's a really cool thing. It's not nearly as good as a custom audience because a custom audience is all your own data. But a lookalike audience is people that are pretty close and they're like that. So what you're going to do for here is you're going to go to source and then location and audience size. So your source will be the original audience that you started with. Location is always the United States. You have to make this whole thing United States. And then what you do is you tighten it down by only picking the city that you want to see these people from. Now, audience size is what percent of the audience size. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. The closest to 0 that you get this is going to be the closer they are to the actual audience that you originally started with. So if you have a 10% audience size, they're going to be somewhat different than the original. But if you're down here at 1%, they're going to be very similar. Okay. So this is really helpful if you have a list of people who have maybe bought a home from you, or you bought a list of people who bought homes in the past. You could upload this, run an ad to those people, and once you exhaust that list, then you can make a lookalike audience of those people. So that works really well sometimes. All right, so what you do with the custom audience is this is where you use it up here, and then down here is where you use the core audience. So I know I threw a ton at you guys with this audience stuff, and it is kind of a little bit difficult to figure out. So just kind of go through these slides afterward, and I'm going to give you something really cool at the end, something that I give to my live training people, so you'll see you'll like it. But it's basically a bonus area where you can log in there, and you're going to have access to these slides. I'm going to have videos on how to do this stuff. It's really cool, the stuff I'm going to give you at the end. All right, Any questions there still, John?
No, keep rolling. You know, it's a great point. If you guys are going through, you have any questions, throw them in the chat box or throw them in the Q&A, and we'll address them as we go, or we'll make sure we address them all before the end of the call.
Okay. So this is a big deal. Realtor page versus unbranded page when you're running your ads. So you can see that's my realtor page, Russ Ward Real Estate Services. And then this is a page that I run ads from in Pittsburgh. It's called People and Places of Pittsburgh. What I call that is a community page. So here's what I recommend. I recommend making a community page that you run your Facebook ads from. So wherever you're from, make it a people and places of, or moving to, whatever, something that sounds catchy. And always in the profile picture, put something that the locals will relate to, and always in the background, something the locals will relate to. So like this guy here doing ice balls. He's been making ice balls since I was like 5 years old, right? So if I see this page, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Pittsburgh, right? What I've found is when you run ads from unbranded community pages, you're going to get 30 to 40% more leads doing it this way. And I think the reason is because they know if it's coming from a realtor, as soon as they opt in as a lead, you're going to blow them up. They know you're going to call them, you're going to harass them relentlessly. However, I do recommend that when you are promoting an open house or you're promoting a listing, and I have ads that show you how to do that, I recommend that you run it from your realtor page, because that builds trust and you know, accountability, that you're taking accountability for being that listing agent. So remember, listing ads or open houses, things like that, you run it from your realtor page. Unbranded community pages for pretty much everything else, because we're going to tell them you're a realtor at some point. We just want to get them in with their lead data first. All right, so ad campaigns. This is how we set them up, and this is how we do it right. So Facebook breaks it down into 3 levels, and they are going to be changing this soon. But for right now, it's a campaign, which is the marketing objective, the ad set, which is your ad audience targeting, your daily budget, and your ad placement, and then your ad itself, which is your ad format, your image, and your copy or your text. So when we're in your Facebook ads account, you're going to see the tabs up here at the top. You're going to see campaigns, ad sets, and ads. So you need to choose a targeting campaign objective when you're running ads: traffic, engagement, video views, lead generation, or conversion. Vast majority of the time, I'm doing lead generation, because I know people trust these very much. They will give you their name, their email, their phone number, and it'll actually auto-populate and suck it right into your lead form, which is great. So there's the ones that I recommend. I don't recommend doing other things other than these. So the foundational campaigns, and when we're done with this, I'm going to give you a link to this course. I have detailed videos on how to set up every single one of these, so I don't have to spend a lot of time going into exactly how to set these up. You can watch the videos and you can follow along, and you'll get the same results I get. And so this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to give you a login to this. This is like a members area. So I'm going to have a little video that says thank you. You're going to have presentation slides. You're going to have 4 different videos on how to set up ads. I'm going to give you some buyer and seller guides you can use in your ads. And then under additional resources, I'm going to give you 93 pictures, I think, of different ads you can use for different ideas. So if you're overwhelmed by this, been talking to you, because I know I talk fast, and I'm talking a little faster today because we're on a time crunch. Just log into here and you'll have everything you need. You can see I even have the ad copy templated for you. You can copy and paste it. So here's some of the ads I recommend running. So for buyer campaigns, I always recommend you run $10 a day. And you don't have to run it the whole month. You don't have to spend $300. Maybe you run it for 10 days, spend $100, see how many ads you get. You can run it for 2 days. And I recommend you either run a buyer's guide ad or a home listing ad. So a buyer's guide would be, and I give you one in there that you can edit for yourself. You just say, hey, anybody who is a first-time home buyer, check out this guide. Click here to get this guide, and then they give your lead information for that. And then a home listing ad it could be your listing, it could be somebody's listing that you're borrowing, but you could make a listing of a home that is you know, on the market, and you're going to bring in leads. Now, not everybody who comes in is going to want to buy that house or see that house, but you know that those are qualified leads because they're actually on the market hunting for a house, that's why that's a really good ad to run. And that's what the home buying guide that I'm going to give you looks like. It comes in PowerPoint format, and then all you do is you edit it, and then you export it as a PDF, and it looks amazing. It looks beautiful. So for seller campaigns, I recommend you do one of these 2 kind of ads: a seller's guide or a home value. Okay. A seller's guide is basically like something like 7 steps to make your home sell faster. And then a home value will send them to your home valuation site. And I know the EXP KV Core has a nice home valuation site. So you can run them directly to the KV Core site, where they can put in their address information, and it will give them, well, it won't give them a home value right off the bat. I don't think that it does, but Do you know if it does, John?
I don't know.
I'm not sure if it does, but if it doesn't, what will happen is that'll come to you in the form of a lead, and it'll be asking you to give them a home value,
Yep.
which is even better because then you get to talk to them for a little bit. So this is what the home seller checklist looks like. Again, very professional, very editable. All right, so we're almost done to the end of here. So we're at creating ads, right? So this is the anatomy of a good ad. At the very top, you want to call out your audience. So you're going to say something like, hey, Brooklyn home buyers. And then you want to hit a pain point. Sick of renting? That's a pain point. Then you want to say who you are, right? In this case, if you're running it from your page, you want to do this. If you're not running it from your page, if you're running it from a people and places page, you don't want to say who you are. Then you want to provide a solution. I have a list of homes under this price, or I have a home buyer's guide, or I have a seller's guide. Down here, you want to have your image or your video. And then down here, you want to have your headline. And I have all this stuff in these videos for you guys to look at as well. So you're going to pick the lead generation. Very important that you pick the page you're running it from. So if you made a page for it, you got to go into here, you got to pick it from the drop down. And then this is very important. You got to view the terms and conditions. If you don't view the terms and conditions and agree to them, your ad will be declined and you won't understand why your ad was declined when it was really something very simple. So anytime I have an ad declined, I realize I usually didn't view the terms and conditions. And that's only the first time that you run it from a new page. Then you're going to do your targeting like we talked about. You're going to pick your target demographics. You're going to exclude people. Now, this is key for ad placements. We want to check feeds and we don't want anything else checked. No instant articles, no in-streams, no Instagram, none of this stuff, because none of that stuff converts very well to leads. It does really well for other things, but not for lead generation. So edit placements, always just feeds. And then you're going to set up your budget. It's going to default you to 20 bucks. So you want to make sure that you change that to 10. If you don't have the budget for 10 bucks, you can always go to 5. It's still going to work. It's just not going to work as well because you're going to be spending money slower. You can set it up where you pay daily, or you can set it up for a lifetime budget. And then here's where you pick your format: images, carousel, single video, or a slideshow. Slideshow is what I usually do whenever I'm doing ads, because what you can do is you can take a bunch of houses in a row, it puts them into a slideshow and it creates a video, and Facebook loves video. But for the intents of this training, what I'm going to show you is putting an image up there. Now, when you do an image, you see how this image has some really cool looking text on it, but it's not too much text and it has like some fireworks. If you're going to use one single image, you always want to make sure it has something cool in there. You want to have some fireworks in it. You want to have some cool text. You want to have like a emoji in there. Because remember, nobody wakes up in the morning trying to become a lead. You have to stop them in their tracks. And if I'm scrolling through and I see a house of fireworks, I might look at it for 2 seconds. Again, this down here, the learn more button, this is going to be defaulted to sign up. You never want it to say sign up because people don't want to sign up for anything, but they do like to learn more about things. It's all a psychology thing with a lot of this stuff, and learn more is much more easier to convert a lead to than sign up. Then you're going to have to create a lead form. And basically, you're just going to say, click the button below and I'll give you your home buyer guide. This is very important here too. So the order you check the information you want on the lead form is the order that it's going to show up there. So you want to do first name, last name, email, phone number, right? You want to put it in the order that they're most likely to give it to you in. And if you screw this up and you submit your lead form, you can't go back and edit it. You'll have to make a new lead form. So make sure you get it right the first time. This is very important. When you put the privacy policy in here, you see how this one, I was a Coldwell Banker for a little while, so you can see that this is my link to Coldwell Banker. It was cbintouch.com/privacy. You never, ever, ever want to do this. I've had multiple Facebook accounts banned by linking directly to the privacy policy. What you want to link to is you want to link directly to the website that links to the privacy policy. So every major real estate company in America has a privacy policy on their homepage. EXP has it. So what I would recommend for EXP agents is you just put exp.com, boom, that links to the EXP privacy policy. The reason you don't want to go to the privacy policy is because there's sometimes words on there that the Facebook bot will crawl and it won't like those words and it will ban your account. I had this happen like 5 times last year and I finally figured out why it happened, and that's what it was. So that's what it looks like. They're going to opt in and you're going to give you their info. And then afterward, you're going to have an option to give them a link to somewhere. So what I'd recommend is making that link go to KV Core, have them go to KV Core and start searching for homes. And so boom, you hit search for homes and then it'll take them right to your site. And I'll show you how to do this in these videos. And then what you do is you publish the ad. So that's it. Now I'm going to skip this part. You can go through this in later because it's kind of redundant and stuff. What I do want to go down here and I want to show you is additional ad campaigns, because I know a lot of you are thinking, wow, that's pretty cool, but what else can I do? So these are just all examples of different kinds of ads you can run. And I actually have pictures of these all in the login area. So this is one for builders. This is one for veterans, fire rebates. What the theme you're going to see here is, and what works really well is if you pick one target audience and you run the ad to those type of people, you get a very good return, because you can see like there's a fireman here, there's a little kid, it's cute, and then you're saying something about first responders, right? As long as you keep the whole thing congruent and it's a very catchy image and catchy text, it's going to work really well. Home value. This is an individual listing. So, like I said, there's a whole bunch more in there in this members area I'm going to give you. So finally, we get here to the end where the key is follow up, right? So it doesn't matter how many leads we get in. If we don't follow up with them, nothing's going to happen. And just like we were talking about, you know, if your Facebook advertising is focused on gathering leads and is not focused on creating conversations, it's highly flawed and doomed to fail. I don't know who said that, but somebody said that at some point. So conversations create revenue, like we talked about, not leads, okay? Don't get hung up on any one individual lead. We can bring in 100 leads, 99% of them might not talk to us, but that one that talks to us, that's the one that's going to convert to a deal. And so how do we create conversations? Well, we show people who we are through videos. We have messenger bots. We have follow-up campaigns through text, email, messenger bots. We have ISAs. ISAs are people who can call on our behalf. And a big thing right now is messenger bots. Messenger bots are going crazy. A lot of times when I run ads for my clients, what I'll do is after the lead form, I will send them to a messenger bot, and the messenger bot will start a conversation with them in real time, and the realtor will jump into the messenger conversation and close a deal. I've literally had somebody talk to somebody in a messenger bot, have coffee, and make an offer that same night. That's how quickly these things can happen if you use a messenger bot. Cool thing about messenger bots is the open rate is about 84%. Email open rate's only about 22%. So it's a much better alternative right now. That's what they look like. So don't let that scare you. If you're creating one, that's kind of the flow. So don't be scared by that. I just wanted to show it to you. All right. So real quick, anybody who's out there that wants to demo this, you can put this into your phone. I prefer you to do it on mobile because this was designed for bit.ly/deluxe bot. That is going to bring up this messenger bot, and it's going to do three cool things. It's going to give you your home value, home searcher. It'll tell you about me. If you click the home value part, it's really cool, because what that's going to do, that's going to create a seller lead for you. It's going to ask them their address information. It's going to ask them their email, their phone number, and it's also going to give them a home value right in the chat bot live. And then it's going to let them know afterward that you're going to contact them to give you a more comprehensive CMA. So it's pretty sweet. If you don't have time to do it right now, that's fine. You can look at it in the slides later. Another cool thing that you can test out too is I have an open house chat bot, which is really neat. Basically, I put all the information of an open house for there. Even I digitally link like the info flyer that you have. And then what you have them do is you have them scan this little button here. So rather than coming in and signing in like you normally would with a pen and paper, you have them check in with your messenger bot. They get all the information that way, and then you can follow up with them in Messenger, and you know they didn't lie to you with their name and their email and their phone number because you got them in Messenger. And if anybody would like to try this out, I'm willing to set some people up and do a demo with you, because I do need some more demos and I do need some more reviews for this. So I'm open to people testing this out for free.
Gangster. I like that.
All right. So the last part I want to go over is, this is where I want to get you excited. Return on investment, right? So let's say you do spend money for a whole month. You spend $10 ad spend for 30 days. That's $300. Let's say you only generate 60 leads for that, and you're always going to get more than that, but I'm doing worst case scenarios at $5 a piece. And you close just one deal out of those 60 leads. Let's say your average commission on the low end is about $3,000. You got a 10 times return on your investment if you spent $300, got 60 leads, and only closed one of them, right? So let's say that worst case scenario happened. You have 59 leads rolling over to the next month, and now you can do it again this month. So next month, part of those 59 are going to convert into deals. Plus, you're going to have at least one more come the next month. And typically, what I find is leads are nowhere close to $5 a piece, only in the most competitive cities. So most places, average nationwide is about $2.50. So if you spend $300 in ad spend, you should get over 100 leads a month. You should get probably anywhere in the 120 to 150 range if you're spending $300. So you can do the math on that. Now, the whole key to this is that you're going to get overwhelmed once you start running ads like this. So you need to have a follow-up system in place so you can follow up with all these people, because you never know which one of those people is going to be the one that converts, right?
Yep.
So don't quit. Believe in the process. Follow up, follow up, follow up. And then my extra bonus to you guys is I'm going to give you this live event bonus. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet because I didn't prepare properly. I should have put a link on the screen, but I didn't. So if you want me to, John, what I can do is I can just give you the link to the login, and you can see
Yeah, for sure. We'll put it. Yeah, we'll tag it in with the replay for sure.
Yep. And then yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm open to some questions. Oh, you know what? Real quick before we do questions, what I wanted to show you is, so I do this presentation for realtors, and then what I do at the end, I say anyone who wants to stick around and hear what I have to offer about real estate, I say this. The Lead King Russ Ward provides full access to marketing chatbots to select realtors who qualify to partner. Then I go into an EXP presentation, okay? And I just let them know, hey, these are all the great benefits of EXP. I had to work with my broker on this because at first I was basically offering free lead services, and he said that wasn't allowed because it was kind of like bribing them. So now I just say, hey, you have access to everything that I have access to. So what I'm trying to say is that everybody out there that's watching this has a talent or a skill. Your talent or skill might be follow-up. It might be cold calling. It might be anything at all. You could put together a little presentation like this, and you could get realtors together in a room, maybe 5, 8, 10 of them to listen to you. And then at the end, you could give the same pitch. However, what I would recommend doing is learn to generate leads just like I do it, and then do exactly what I'm doing. Exactly duplicate what I'm doing. Shoot, even use my same presentation, just change the name in it. I don't care if you do that. And then do a lead generation presentation for realtors in your market once you get some results, and then offer them the same exact thing that I'm offering here. And then you could use exactly what I'm doing to recruit for your teams as well. So that's my little pitch on how you could do that as well.
Money. Melissa was asking, she had a question about KV Core and Facebook lead forms, and saying that it's kind of hanging her up for sure. Melissa, if you want to chime in, maybe exactly what question, or maybe it's more in depth. Russ, you have, excuse me, you have any experience kind of there integrating things in with KV Core, messing with KV Core much?
Yeah, so I found that KV Core is actually somewhat difficult to integrate with. As everybody knows, it's not easy to learn. What you're going to need is Zapier. Zapier is an online platform that basically moves information. So what it'll do is it'll pull your leads from Facebook ads, and it'll move them into KV Core. So one of the best ways I found to do KV Core, though, is to run an ad with a link directly to KV Core, not use a lead form, so you don't have to move that information. And so you say, hey, have a list of, say you make a custom page in KV Core, a list of homes under, say, $300,000 in your city, right? What you're going to do is you're going to run an ad directly to the link for that list. And then when they get to that list, they have to log into your site. And now you can see everything they're doing, and they create a lead for themselves. That is the best way that I've seen to use KV Core, because not only do you create a lead, but you can see all the activity they're doing on your site.
Perfect. So yeah, James second that, said just he's having better conversion, pushing the leads directly into KV Core instead of the lead form. Yep. So
here's something I saw somebody else do too. I saw an EXP agent running an ad doing this, where he went down and he said, get the following list of homes. I have lists of foreclosures. I have lists of homes under this price. I have lists with pools. And then when he runs it to a page, he has a KV Core page made with multiple preset lists that he already made. So he's pulling in a wider demographic than everybody else, because he's not going super niche. He's going very wide net, but niche within the wide net.
Gotcha. Cool. Any other questions that you guys have? Throw them into the chat or into the Q&A, and we'll get them answered. Russ, is there anything else that you really want to? We covered a lot of ground. I love focusing on conversations. That's hopefully that's a huge takeaway for all of you guys. Is there anything else that you really want to emphasize with everybody to really not allow themselves to get hung up on?
Yeah, the main thing was when you're doing lead generation, don't worry about any individual lead, because to be honest with you, I bring in thousands of leads a month, and the vast majority of these leads are not anywhere ready right now. But when you do find that one needle in a haystack, it pays off completely, right? Because like I showed you in the breakdown of the money there,
Yeah.
these deals are out there. I have some people that are just bringing in 10, 12 deals a month because they're just so persistent. They're just fanatical about follow up. So, if you can just follow up hardcore, I know, we all have lives, we have kids, we have families, but if you are able to, and say, for instance, you're young and you don't have anything else to do, man, just follow up all night long, because you will get that needle in a haystack.
Yeah, for sure. Zach was asking a question. Any luck with the landing pages, like when they click the learn more in your Facebook ad, linking to the landing page in KV Core? Is there anything specific there?
Yeah, like I said before, you can take any of those buttons and you can direct it directly to KV Core. The nice thing about, well, there's a double-edged sword here. The nice thing is that forces them to become a lead to look at your listings. The other thing is, though, is you can't control what they do, right? You can't control whether or not they become a lead. So what I've tested before is maybe do a lead form where you make sure you get their name, email, and phone number, and then you give them a button afterward that takes them to KV Core. So even if they don't go to KV Core and become a lead, at least you have them on the lead form and you can follow up with them later.
Yeah. Test it, guys. I mean, that's just kind of marketing 101. You've got to run multiple tests and see what's going to work. James is asking, going down the Google hole, anything that you've done with what you've created, regarding custom audiences, web traffic, remarketing on Google, in tandem to retargeting on Facebook. Just kind of curious about Google ad budget versus Facebook ad budget for retargeting.
I personally don't do anything with Google ads because I notice the cost per click is so cost prohibitive with Google. Sometimes it can be $7 just to click on a link. So I don't touch it at all personally. So I can't help with that. I'm sorry. One thing I would like to add too is I've had a lot of realtors that have had a lot of success recruiting mortgage partners to actually split the cost of the ads with them. And then what happens is they promise that if they bring in a good buyer lead, that the mortgage professional is going to get that lead as well. And people do it all the time. People that I work with, they split the cost of everything, and you might want to try that as well.
I was reading a question from Melissa. Melissa, I don't know if this is a question or, if you have a question in there, let us know. Just talking about $75 on seller ads, got around 8 leads right in her area. She said they rarely enter the correct email or phone number. Sometimes they even put in the wrong name.
Was that, can you see if that was a Facebook lead form or if it was somebody that came to the KV Core site?
Yeah, I don't know. Melissa, maybe if you chime that in there, that way we can give you a little more context on it.
Yeah, but typically Facebook's going to pull in the data they have on file for you when you signed up for Facebook.
Right.
So if that's wrong, it's typically because they changed their number or they changed their email address.
Got it. For sure. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, like I said, I really appreciate you taking the time and really jumping on with us today. And so this is Melissa. She's like, if I don't use a Facebook lead form, how do I improve getting the correct info? I was using KV Core in the above example.
See, there's nothing you can really do to force them to give you the right info. You just have to make better converting ads so you can get more leads for a less cost. And then the bad ones won't matter as much is kind of my answer to that.
Gotcha. Cool. Awesome. Man, yeah, great content. Thank you again for jumping on. Appreciate all of you guys jumping in and asking questions and really engaging. It really makes these expert mentors calls. I know they're already valuable with the tremendous amount of content, all the expert mentors in the Honey Badger Nation, fast forward movement. So it's definitely been rewarding to be able to do this every week with you guys and really showcase all the badasses that we have, riding with us. And Russ is no different. So I appreciate you, brother. I know you're going to get a link out for everybody. So be on the lookout for the replay and we'll have the link there. And then obviously if you have any questions, hit up Russ, hit up myself. And then obviously when you get this replay, guys, make sure you give tons of love, share some key takeaways. We really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks everybody for having me on.
Thanks.
And,
See you guys.
Before you go, if you guys want to connect with me, check out my Facebook page, The Lead King. I post a lot of stuff there, and I post a lot of stuff on my personal page too. That's pretty helpful. Like I'll give updates for all kinds of things. So friend request me, send me messages. I'm very open. I'm very easy to work with.
Boom. That's awesome, man. Appreciate it. See you guys.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
See you.